Angry Bears Fan Podcast, episode 88. Like, follow, subscribe. Please keep it up. Like I said, if you were listening last week, we are doing great with our growth. I don't know if it's Caleb, Bears popularity, what, shorts, but we have basically doubled our sub count. We're almost up to 6K. So, yeah, we appreciate it. Like I said, like, follow, subscribe. Won't waste time too much more. We'll get right into the Bears. Big Bears win. Dominate the Jags in London. Was basically a home game if you were watching. As for as much as the Jags play there, I honestly, not even joking, like don't remember even seeing a single Jags jersey.
No, it was
Like,
like 90% Bears fans over there.
like it was,
There was a lot of like NFL fans too. I
yeah,
saw
random jerseys, yeah,
Lions jerseys and
yeah,
shit like that. But yeah, I mean, you talked about it. It was an ass whooping. Um, Started off slow, just like every week in terms on the
yeah.
offensive side of the ball, but we got it going. Caleb's been looking good. He's one of the better quarterbacks the last 3 weeks. And I understand, people out there saying, "Oh, well, their only wins have come against one-win teams," and it's like, well, what if we had won 17-16, we'd be having a different conversation. They did what they were supposed to do, and they handled business. It wasn't a close game. They beat the shit out of them in every aspect of the game, and that's what you need to do against inferior teams if you want to be one of the good teams. We talk about it every week, and that's exactly what they did. You can only play who's on your schedule,
Agreed. Yeah,
and it's the
that's what I would
NFL.
say.
And it's the NFL. Anything can happen. I know we talked about the Giants upset of the Seahawks in Seattle the other week. These things just
They
happen.
played the Bengals down to the wire, last drive of the game. Like,
Yeah.
so I will agree with you
Congratulations
there. Yeah.
on that, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was we sweated that one out at home. Um, but yeah, the Bears look great. Caleb looked great. Continue to impress, getting better every week. All that stuff you wanted to see, all that growth we wanted to see is coming faster than expected. Definitely than I did. Again, my biggest qualm with it was like I thought it was just going to be the rookie woes all year one. And again, we're playing bad teams, but this is the NFL. And he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I mean, bad teams can jump on you and surprise you. You know what I mean? It happens every single week, like you said. But like I said, he is exceeding expectations. I think he's basically closed the gap on the rookie of the year with Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden's probably still the favorite. I think he's the betting odds favorite, but it's very close now. Caleb's got 9 touchdowns, I think 5 picks. Jaden's like 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. Um, but I think Caleb seems to just be getting better and better, and we just have better an easier schedule, and we're gonna run into each other next, not next
Yep.
this weekend, but the
After
next
the bye.
weekend, and the Bears
And they
defense
and
isn't
they
gonna let
flexed it
Jaden down. Yeah, they flexed it to
a
I'm surprised they should have.
325.
Yeah, why? What other games on at noon?
I don't know.
Yeah,
But they flexed it to 325 to make a game of the week. You have the number 1 and 2 overall picks in the draft that are gonna be synonymous with each other throughout their entire careers. Game is in Washington. Dan Quinn has that team playing really, really, really
Caleb's
well.
from Washington, right? As well.
Yeah, Caleb is from Washington. It's going to be a real good game. This will be a good testament. It'll be a good, test game to see where Caleb's at, where the Bears are at in terms of, being a complete team. Washington's going to be favored because it's a home game. They'll probably be favored by 3.5 points. Um, we got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks taking, well, about a week and a half to that game. Um, some trade news. The trade market's heating up. I know the trade deadline is first week of November. I forget exactly when. There's been a couple of big deals already. I know you and I have been kind of talking back and forth throughout the week. Just because we know Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles, ever since he's taken the office for the
He's made a
Chicago Bears,
deadline
has always
deal.
made a splash deadline deal move. And Raiders are saying Max Crosby's untouchable. You brought up Miles Garrett. There's Trey Hendrickson that's out there as well, possibly as a name being floated around. Nobody knows what's going on with Dallas with Micah Parsons because he's hurt. He's been hurt, but Dallas has not been playing very well. They're going nowhere. Hassan Reddick was able to seek a trade from the Jets. We keep talking about needing an edge opposite Montez Sweat. But there's a couple of offensive lineman names out there too. Michael Jordan from New England is a name being floated out there, as well as Wyatt Teller from Cleveland.
He's
And
very good. I'd love to have Wyatt
I
Teller.
wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Wyatt Teller. He'd probably be somewhere around a third, fourth round pick, probably third and a fifth or something like that. Because Cleveland's just in, I mean, they're in shambles. I mean, realistically, they're close to being on a fire because they have no other choice than to have a fire sale. I mean, you got to pay Deshaun Watson 140 million guaranteed, and your team has only won one game. So just expect some names to be floating out there. Like we were saying, Ryan Poles likes to make splash deals at the trade deadline. He's not shy about making those deals. I would like to see an edge in an offensive lineman if possible. But anything can happen. You never know. There's a whole bunch of names out there. A lot of people unhappy. Aaron Rodgers got his man in Devontae Adams. The Bills traded for Amari Cooper. That was probably I like that trade more than I like the Devontae Adams trade
The Bills
because
definitely need somebody. Amari's been playing pretty well too,
we
better
all
than he.
knew. Well, we all knew Devontae was getting traded to the Jets.
Yeah,
That was that it should come as no shock. But um, Josh Allen gets a number one, and Amari Cooper, who's not. I mean, Amari Cooper is one of probably the most like I would say him and DJ Moore both are kind of just those number one guys that create no drama
yeah.
whatsoever.
Well, yeah, he's
Um,
got 1,000 yards in like 3 different places now with, what I mean, 5 different quarterbacks. So he'll
is he
fit
the new
right in.
Brandon Cooks?
Yeah, it's looking like it, or Brandon Marshall, or whatever you want to call him. Yeah, there's some names out there. I'm not a fan of Reddick now. I was in the offseason because I think you can kind of get over that sitting out funk in the offseason. But this far into the season, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of guys who sit out. You got a contract. They were going to pay you to play this year, play it out, and get paid next year. Especially you're on the Jets. They have no loyalty anyway. Like I understand you sitting out with the Eagles. You won a Super Bowl with them, or you went to the Super Bowl. You played well. You did. You know what I mean? Like they owe you. What do you know what I mean? Quotations. Like the Jets owe you shit, and they can't like they're in a win now mode right now. They like if this doesn't work, they don't want to be attached to a 30-year-old pass rusher. They're about to blow it up. Like I just that part's like who's like I said, he fired his agent. That don't even make no sense to me. Like I mean, if you were a football dummy, you understand that the Jets aren't giving a 30-year-old pass rusher a multi-year big deal. Like I don't know, like so I don't want that on the Bears either because he's not the type of guy I want to pay. If we end up getting Myles Garrett, fine, I'm fine with that contract. But I do think he has to make a move because the Detroit Lions are going to.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
if we
100%.
don't block them, they're gonna. If we don't go get the best pass rushers, they're gonna go get the best pass rusher. So I think we're kind of it's forcing our hand because as much as I love Aiden Hutchinson, one of my favorite players ever, um, him being down puts us in great position. I think Minnesota is going to come back to reality. I think the Packers are a 500 team. Sure, they look good and they beat the hell out of the fucking uh the Cowboys in the playoffs, the first round of the playoffs last year, but they were a 9-8 team, right? Like they
Yeah.
barely got in the playoffs. They weren't they're not world beat. They look the same way. A middle of the pack. They might get 10 wins this year, maybe 11 at tops. But the Lions look really good, and Aiden Hutchinson going down is great for us. But if they just go out and get Myles Garrett or end up with Max Crosby or whoever, like that, just like we got to capitalize. And I think this time, I think there's a lot of pressure on him. I don't think there was much pressure on him in the other years to make a move. I just think he made a value move. The
I
sweat
mean,
and
even
tears,
if you, yeah, I mean, even if you don't necessarily get the guy, at least drive the price up.
drive the price up, make it real, like we want them to, and then sure, if they have to give up 2 or 3 first, then so be it. But we have Caleb now, so I'm not really attached to any of these first round picks. I mean, we need offensive linemen, but
We
I'll,
have two second rounders.
yes, that's what I'm saying. You're in. We need an interior, like you line the value from O line from pick. You know what I mean? Late first round to somewhere in the second really isn't much different. So we could lose our first and still end up with a quality alignment. You get a good guy in the third round. We can go get one in free agency who's already established. So I don't want to be stingy with our first. It made sense, Pat. You know what I mean? As much as I talked about the Hall and all that, it made sense to keep it for Caleb. But like we have Caleb now on for 5 years and a franchise tag, like we did with Mitch. Go out and get somebody. The Khalil Mack move was great. It didn't work out in the future because Mitch sucked
Yeah,
and our coach
Mitch
wasn't
just wasn't
good,
the guy.
but he was still good. He's still good right now. Um, so I think we should do something like that. Like I said, maybe it doesn't have to be an all pro like Khalil Mack, but I think if Myles Garrett is available, he's going to end up on the Lions. or I just really I think they're all in on this season. They have their quarterback, they have their edge rusher, they have an elite O line. They don't need picks for anything.
No.
They paid everybody.
Yes.
They're good on almost all levels. So, like I said, outside of like I said, we need a left tackle, and we need an edge rusher. So it'd be nice to have our first. But if we can use our first to get one of those, then we should. But like I said, I do not want to see the Lions end up with Myles Garrett. If they get a Son Reddick, like I said, so be it. I don't think he'll be a game changer for anybody. But if they end up with Max Crosby, I'll be fucking devastated because I don't think Trey Henderson is going anywhere. I think Max Crosby is. I mean, obviously he got paid and everybody knows good, but I just think he's really underrated. As good as highly
Well,
as people do rate him, he's still.
the
I think
Raiders are
he's better.
saying he's completely untouchable. They said they wouldn't even consider multiple firsts for him. But I mean, I think eh, ev-
They're capping.
everybody's got a price.
They're capping because they got to get a quarterback. So
Everybody's got a price.
unless they're the worst team in the league, they can't secure it. The only way they can is be say, hey, we're top. We got a top 8 pick, and we got somebody else's first
Well,
round pick. We can move up.
Mark Davis was saying that when he traded Devontae, he's like, "Oh yeah, we traded Devontae for Tom Brady and a third round pick today," making that joke because Tom Brady was approved for minority owner of the Raiders, and there was a lot of talk that he's possibly going to have a lot of say in who they take at quarterback in this upcoming draft.
He says they
Uh,
say he likes Shadur too. And Shadur was seen with Mark Sanders at courtside at one of the games like a week ago. I do, and Dion has made it clear that they will pull an Eli if a team they don't want drafts him or attempt to pull Eli. Nobody's done it since him, so we'll see. But I think that'll scare people away because he's not that good. I mean, he is good. I'm not downplaying, but it's just not like he's not the Caleb Williams prospect,
no,
Trevor Lawrence prospect. So if he's got bad interviews or he straight up tells the team, I don't want to fucking be here, they probably won't draft him. But I think Vegas is a place he might end up. They've got a defensive coach, so I mean, if that ends up happening, they probably end up firing Pierce.
I
Um,
don't think Pierce is there next year. I
which
don't. I
sucks
know
for
they
him because it's
just
not his
signed him,
fault.
but
Yeah, it's not his fault either. That which sucks.
it's
Um,
not.
but we'll see. But it was interesting. Tom Brady already part of a team in the broadcast booth. He didn't take any time off. Um,
No, man, he's everywhere.
yeah, I mean the guy just loves football. That's why it was this weird thing when he got divorced, and not to get into people's business, and I don't know what's said behind closed doors, but to leave a guy because he thought he was ready to give up his dream, but he wasn't. Seems weird to me. Like I don't know. Again, do whatever you like. I don't know the dynamic. I just wasn't like he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go be a drunk. It's like he's the best quarterback ever, and he thought he was done, and he changed his mind. And he just won a Super Bowl. Like I don't know. I would have a hard time retiring after winning a Super Bowl too. But we will see. I like to see Tom Brady back in the NFL. We need him. It's good to see Peyton Manning. That's what we need. Our stars to be involved. That's why I think the NFL just continues to grow. But to
That's
end
how.
on Caleb, he was great. He was
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
I
He
again,
should have had
I've
six.
been eating my words. Like I said,
He
I
should
wasn't
have
rooting.
had six.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of small stuff that left out to me. Like he just seems mature. I don't know if it's Waldron, if it's him, but each week it seems like he's making sure the guys we're worried that are going to be like, oh, I'm not getting enough touches, get the ball. So it's like first couple weeks DJ wasn't getting the ball, then he has a nice game, then he has a big 2 touchdown game, and then we're like, where the fuck's Keenan been? He gets a 2 touchdown game, a lot of targets.
Cole
Komet
Komet gets
has
two
been
tutties.
amazing. He was long snapping. Um, like I said, I'd love to see that with Cole Komet because for whatever reason they were featuring Gerald Everett, which was clearly a fucking mistake. Komet is
Well,
so much better than him.
let's give credit to DeAndre Swift too. DeAndre Swift
There's
these
been so
last
much,
few
yeah.
weeks has been really, really, really good.
No.
I
I think it's the
know.
O line too. I'm not gonna because he's not making a lot of people miss. He's still not doing that,
No,
which I'm not liking. So I think it's O line, but him, the O line, the run game coordinator, Waldron, whatever they figured out, they all deserve applause
they
because
stopped running outside zone and they
yes,
started
Caleb
running it.
needed that because we had to slow the pass rushers down. Because Caleb does like to hold the ball a little bit. That's just his magic. Patrick Mahomes holds the ball. Josh Allen holds the ball. Joe Burrow, you watch the game, he holds the ball too long all the fucking time. And like I said, he was amazing. 4 touchdowns, could have had more. Some of them just dimes. The one that Keenan Allen in the end zone was just
Yep,
a
in the corner of
fucking
the end zone,
dime.
right over the shoulder.
Uh,
Let's talk about the health of the defense a little bit because
yeah,
Brisker went down, or I'm sorry, Brisker didn't even travel with the team with a
he's
concussion.
a
Kyler
concussion
Gordon
protocol.
went down. We don't know the extent of that hamstring injury. He looked like
Tyreek
he was
Stevenson
all up.
did play. Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson, and those are big parts. The bye came at a good time in terms of getting healthy.
Yes, we need them
Hopefully,
back.
everybody is healthy because we're going to need all hands on deck when it comes to Washington coming up. Um, but the defense overall, we again extending that streak of 21 points or less allowed. They held Jacksonville to 16 points. And as much, yeah, Trevor Lawrence has struggled, but he just threw for 300 and something odd yards the week prior.
He
And,
averages 300 in London. I'm pretty
you know,
sure.
he,
I'm pretty
he,
sure he averages 300 yards a game in London.
yeah, and the Bears kept him pedestrian.
Oh yeah.
Even with the backups in the secondary, they kept him pedestrian, and that was really encouraging to see. It seems like everybody's buying into it's one of the oldest mantras in football, next man up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're really believing in that. It seems like they've really bought into Eberflus's defensive scheme. Everybody's got an assignment and they're all doing their jobs. And that's exactly what we need from the defense. The defense are going to keep us in every single game this year, regardless of who we play.
Yeah.
I don't foresee a game like last year where we got blown out by the Chargers, or you know what I'm saying. I don't see those games this year because the defense is going to keep us in it. And we have an offense now that, as long as it's rolling and we're not making dumb,
As
mistakes,
long as they block, I think we're going to be
everything
fine.
else like that, we should be fine. Caleb continues to grow. This game against Washington is going to be really important for him. It's going to be really important for the Bears, playing Jaden Daniels, who everybody's saying that you should have taken, and playing Washington, who's another surprise team this year. I mean, they're no slouches. They're a pretty good team.
I think it's a good
Um,
matchup for us because they're getting carried by their offense.
yeah,
So
100%.
So I think if we do what we do best and Caleb's just mediocre, we'll be just fine. They haven't played, or I guess the Ravens are technically a really good defense, but the Ravens haven't been playing good defense this year.
No, they have not.
Um, so I don't think the Redskins have played anybody like us, and I do think they're going to give Jaden a lot of trouble. But this is a big game, and I think the team, for those reasons that you said, the number 1-2 could pick comparison. I think they're going to want to win for Caleb. They're going to make Jaden Daniels look good or look bad for Caleb. Because you see that now, the camaraderie. Like I said, Caleb has been more than advertised. He jumped right in. Seems to be a great leader. He seems to be very mature. And the offense is, you can see it. Like it's 6 weeks in, and he looks like he's been there. You know what I mean? He was there all last year. And it's a lot of Waldron and the offensive line getting their shit back together too. Maybe it was facing bad teams, we'll see. But Jacksonville's a good D line. And we did a good job. He got sacked 3 times, but none of them were really egregious. A couple of them were just
No.
third down. Cable's trying to hold the ball a little too long. Some of those sacks are just fine, whatever. You know what I mean? The first down wasn't open, so you take a sack. But yeah, like there's not much to talk about. It was like I don't know, perfect's the word, but just dominant performance. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. And Caleb put on display that he's not Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And that was my main worry about Caleb and the enamored of throwing for 300 yards and doing all this, because it doesn't always equate to winning. And I didn't want Caleb to be Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence isn't bad. He just, not for whatever reason, it doesn't translate to wins. He can throw for 300 yards. He's got the arm. He's mobile. He's got the look. They had to pay him, and look where they are. Like I said, 55 million for that. That's crazy. Brock Purdy's making 900K.
I know.
Like,
Well, and that's another thing too, is, we're taking a look at the schedule, Sean. The 49ers are still the 49ers, but they're beatable. That was a game that when we were
we were worried
talking
about,
about at the
yeah.
beginning of the
It was
season,
a
we're like, oh,
loss.
that's an L. Like that's an automatic L. And now, maybe, we were talking about this
We
right now.
play
We're
them
sitting at,
well, usually. Whatever,
yeah,
like no matter what, we
and
always play them.
we're sitting at 4-2 right now. If we split with the division, which is what you and I both predicted,
Yeah, I imagine, yeah.
that's 7 wins, right? So you need 3 more out of, what is it, 4 games or 5 games or whatever. You'd have Washington, New England,
Cardinals,
Arizona, San Francisco, and Seattle. So out of those
Seattle.
5 games, you need 3 wins. I see 3 wins there to get to
Oh
10.
yeah, 100%. We're beating the Cardinals 100%. They're not beating us. The Patriots definitely are beating us. And I really, like I said, I think Jaden Daniels is good, and I think they'll score some points. But we've got a streak of holding people under 21 for a reason, and Redskins aren't holding us. Or sorry, I keep saying Redskins. The Commanders are not holding us to under 21 points. It's not happening. Um, so, like you said, yeah, the Niners they'll need that win, so we'll give it to them just based on respect because they do what they do. But I think we'll beat Seattle too. Like, what has Seattle done to make me think we wouldn't beat them either? Like, um, and yeah, I mean that's all Caleb. And like I said, I'm glad because that was my biggest worry to see. I didn't want the season to be a throwaway where we were just being grateful that we had a quarterback who could throw for 300 yards, but we were going to go 7-10 or 8-9. But we're in real contention. There's no powerhouse in the NFC. Well, the Lions, like they just lost Aiden Hutchinson, and we always play them good. We just play. I mean, it's basically the same team they had last year. And with Justin Fields, we split with them, and we should have won. We could have won the other game.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see us match up with them. I think it's going to be an exciting game where a lot of points are scored. I don't envision us holding the Lions under 21 points,
No.
but we will see. I just saw a graphic today where it's like the most turnovers against a single team since 2007, and it's Josh Allen and the Jets with like 22, and then it's Jared Goff to the Bears with like 15, and he's only been the quarterback for like 3 years. So what? Yeah, it's been 3 years now. This is this
Yeah,
year
but
four?
he also had a couple of bad games when he was with the Rams against the Bears as well. There was
Oh
the
yeah,
game there was the game in 2018, the 2018 Bears where they picked him off 3 times and
I
caused him to
forgot about
fumble
all
like
those.
twice.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's had a couple of bad games where he was with the Rams as well against the Bears, but realistically, like you said, we play the Lions well, we play the Vikings well. Green Bay's owned us, but we're definitely taking one from Green Bay. We have to.
yes.
We
And
have
again, we're a different team now. They did own us in the past, but we were in the middle of a rebuild the last few years, and Aaron Rodgers is gone now. Jordan Love is more than
Is
adequate,
not
but
Aaron Rodgers.
yes, he's more than. But yes, they're not the same team. And like I said, I think we'll take one from them. I don't know if it'll be a home or away game, but I think that it's important to the coaching staff. I think it's important to the team, and I think it's important to Caleb that we win one of these rivalry games. Excuse me. But like I said, it's great to be a Bears fan again. We got a really bright future, and I hope Poles does what he normally does and makes some kind of deadline deal that it puts us over the top.
Yeah, I mean, I hopefully we have a little bit of a talking subject next week with the bye week coming up. Hopefully there is a big trade that we can talk about and we can glaze Ryan Poles' nuts in the process. But
Yeah, what week is it? 6, so or this week 7. I think it's 9, week 9. So yeah, the first week of November.
first week of November, it's like
Um,
November 4th or something like that.
all right, well we'll close it out. Looks like the Sox might be for sale. Seeing whispers of that, and Lonzo Ball returned tonight. He looked okay. I watched a little bit of the game like an hour ago.
Uh,
He
I'll
looked
tell you what, the
healthy.
rookie. I'll tell you the rookie, the white boy.
He can play. I think he can
He
play. I
he he
think
looks he
Giddy.
looks like he's gonna be a baller.
I like Giddy a lot. Like I said, people were harping on the deal, but I think in 2 months from now, Bulls fans are going to be in love with Giddy because I think he's a gritty,
He's a
grinding,
scrapper.
yes, Bulls type player.
He's like a
Um,
Kirk Heinrich, but taller and
Levine's
better.
going to have to buy in and be a team player if he wants to get traded. Um, so I think he'll be on his best behavior.
I
Lonzo,
think
same
I
well.
think they'll be a fun watch. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
they
mean,
won't win.
hopefully
They
they
won't.
tank right the right way
Yeah,
though.
they won't win a lot of games, but they'll be fun to watch. I mean, Kobe White took a big step forward last year. He looks like a good player. The signing him to the extension was a good idea. I'm still not sold on Patrick Williams.
No,
And that
100%
extension,
so.
they need to get rid of Vooch. And
I think you should be sold that he's trash. No, I won't trash the word. He's just a role player. He's like a maybe you know what I mean. I guess you can be a starter, but the
they
guy's
need to
just
get
not
rid of
good.
Vooch. They need to get rid of Vooch, and they need to
Yes,
get rid of Zach Levine,
yeah.
and just completely tear it down. But
Try and
they,
get
I mean,
super flex.
they look exciting. I'll give them that. And yeah, the Sox being for sale, that's been whispers for a while now. Jerry talked about moving the team to Nashville. Honestly, I don't fucking care. The team was so bad this year that it's like it's
It
gonna be
makes me
another.
not want to be a baseball fan
No,
anymore.
it's
Like
gonna
I
be
don't
like
even like care
another.
about baseball anymore.
When
It's
you're
like
that bad, the rebuild for that is at least 7 years. At least there is no easy turnaround fix for this. it's at least 7 years before you're competitive again. And I'm a 36-year-old. I ain't got the fucking patience for
I
that
don't know if
shit.
it'd be that. I think
It's
I don't think baseball's always like a talent thing. I think it's more of like a chemistry and camaraderie thing. And I just think we don't have any. We got a bad coach, bad owner, a bad team, and it don't
seven
work out this
years.
way.
Mark
I
my
don't think
words right now.
I don't think it'd be
Regardless if they
said.
stay in Chicago or not, they will not be competitive for another 7 years.
What's that? Make the playoffs or almost like be? I don't know. I don't think it'll be that long. I don't think.
Competitive, almost make the playoffs. 7 years.
So. There's
7 years.
been teams that have been as close to that bad and it didn't take them
No,
that long.
no, no, there hasn't.
What's the
No, there
last
hasn't.
time? I don't know that. I just maybe I think so. I won't say pretend like I know baseball history. So, but all right. Like I said at the beginning, please like, follow, subscribe, continue that. Like I said, we're on a roll.
Yeah,
Biggest growth we have.
5,000 subs. Let's go.
Yeah, we're almost at six now. Yeah, we're 200 away from
That's
six.
crazy. That's
We've
we
been
we
we're
would have
almost
never
tripled.
we did not when we first started this. You and I, we just did this out of being a fucking hobby. We didn't think,
Yeah.
we always talk shit about getting up there in terms of subscribers and stuff like that because we want to share our passion of sports with everybody else who's a sports fan. You know what I'm saying? So drop some comments,
Yeah, all
regardless
that.
if
Yeah.
it's about Chicago sports or not. We'll talk sports with
Yeah,
anyone.
that's I did. I was gonna say that too. We in the beginning we talked a lot more about everything, and we'll get back to that because I think our fan base is a little more than just Chicago sports. But again, like I said, keep it up. Give us some comments, like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Adios.